6:31, and I'm going to call the meeting of February 18th Development Review Board to order. I have a few things to say before we get started. All right. At the DRB, we hear applications for land development in the town of Brattleboro and appeals of zoning administrator decisions. Procedurally, the Development Review Board operates on the record. Broadly, this means that we take a clear record of testimony from the applicant and any interested parties and then issue a written decision with our findings. Applicants and members of the public should be aware that as we are on the record, this is your opportunity to comment on and provide evidence relating to an application. Application materials and written testimony is posted to the town website as received. Hearings may be continued at the board's discretion if materially important documents are received after the submission deadline. In the event our decision is appealed to the environmental court, the court will not take or consider additional testimony at its hearing, but will look at the evidence from our hearings, the regulations, and determine if the evidence supports the findings and decisions of this board. Only interested persons that participate in this proceeding may appeal a decision made by the board, so I strongly encourage all of you to speak up at this hearing. As we are on record, we're going to ask you that you affirm that your testimony will be truthful. So would the applicant and anyone wishing to speak to an application please affirm the following. I hereby affirm that the evidence I give in the cause under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth under the pains and penalties of perjury. Please say I do if you agree to that.
I do.
We do.
We have everyone on Zoom who's going to speak to an application. Okay. Applicants require a majority vote on the full board to succeed. That is 4 votes out of 7. If we do not have a full board present to hear your application, then we will consider a request to continue your application to our next public meeting. After taking the testimony, the board will close the public hearing and may vote on your application. The board will issue a written decision within 45 days of the close of the hearing. While we may vote on an application, it is the written decision that controls the timeline for appeal. It should be noted that the town of Brattleboro is a party with an interest in land development applications. The town does not have a special status before this board. Documents provided to the board by the town planning department, town attorney, and other town departments will be considered in exactly the same way as information from the applicant and all other interested parties. All right. Can I have a move?
I'll move that we approve the minutes of January 7th.
Yes, thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So, Steve, has the meeting been properly warned?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Anyone who has a conflict of interest or ex parte communication, we can talk about that now.
Sure, I do. I wrote a memo about it and gave it to staff. Which one?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Which application?
Oh, yeah. It's about 2026-4, the one at 69A for Hope Corner. I wrote a memo, as is required, disclosing the ex parte communication, and staff has that, so that qualifies as being on the record. I didn't conduct any ex parte communication myself, but I received it on 2 occasions at 2 planning commission meetings. I'm a planning commissioner, and the disclosure states that you're supposed to summarize the substance, of the ex parte communication and the identity of the person making the ex parte communication. So I'll say that on last year, December 17th, Lisa Marie attended that Planning Commission meeting and stated in general that 69A is an art gallery, not what other people may think it is. Social assistance and charitable services. And once again, I believe that nothing that I responded concerns the substance or merits of this case that's before us now. And then January 5th of this year, Lisa Marie also attended our Planning Commission meeting and once again stated something similarly, that 69A is not a social assistance or charitable service space. And once again, I didn't respond to that in any way that concerned the substance or merits of this case before us. And the minutes and recordings of those meetings are available.
Thank you. Thank you
Sure.
very much. So go ahead.
I don't know whether this is considered to be a conflict of interest, but I dropped off a bag of clothing at 69.
69. Okay, thank you very much. I will say that we have, as a board, received some communications from the public directly about the 69A application, and we did not respond to those, as we're not supposed to do that. And I don't think that, for me personally, it hasn't affected me in any way that would cause concern for this hearing. And I think many of us received direct communications that way.
I'd agree with that, and I'd just like to say that I had a number of brief conversations about some what I feel are misconceptions with how the select board sent the case, if you want to call it that, to us, and that had nothing to do with the merits of the application whatsoever, and I made that very clear to who I was speaking to. But I wanted to make sure that it was out there that I did have a couple conversations about misconceptions of what the select board's ruling meant and the procedure of it coming to us.
Thank you, Tim. It's not your turn to talk.
I just had a question about. I'm sorry.
Yeah, what?
Oh, I just when you say you received direct communications, you mean like as outside of the invitation for public to submit?
We get direct emails from the public. And
I
we're
was
not
just
supposed to
clarifying.
get those.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Supposed to go through staff. Supposed to go
You're
through
supposed
staff.
to go through staff. Yeah. So is Catherine on?
She is not.
Okay. So we have one less member than usual, and I want to appoint Maya Sagawa to sit on the board for today. Thank you. All right. So the first application is. Right, let me get one. Here. I think it's
It's 26-6.
26-6, and that's the goats on Sherwood Circle. So that's the Bates, I believe. And you want to speak to your project, please?
Steve.
Martina and Tom Steves. So you can explain your project to us, please.
Yes. They're, what kind of goats are they?
So we would like to buy two Nigerian dwarf goats, female goats, to help us get rid of weeds and ivy and poison ivy in our backyard. And that's basically it. We did our research, and the property is big enough to sustain two goats. We were recommended to pick females because they don't smell as much as males. They are more quiet or quieter. So we applied for permission to have the goats on our property. We are a little bit away from everybody, so we don't see, you know, we don't see a reason why we would be affecting lives of our neighbors negatively.
Yeah, our backyard is at least 100 feet from any neighbor's house.
Could you repeat how much?
100 feet, I would say.
100? That's what I saw.
Does anybody have any questions?
I have a couple questions.
Okay.
So you have chickens already at your property, is that right? That you inherited when you bought the house?
Yes, 3 chickens,
Yeah.
elderly chickens right now.
And would you call these goats? What's the purpose, the principal purpose you're seeking to have them? Are they pets, or is this for
Yes,
commercial use?
They are pets. They would be pets basically, and we would just use them for, as I said, to keep the ground poison ivy free. So we have 10-year-old, 11-year-old son, and we thought to have small dwarf goats would be nice to have them as pets.
Yeah, and our backyard borders the woods, and there's a whole lot of brush in the back, and we cleared a lot of it, maybe 100 feet, and it was a lot of work, and we were thinking of renting goats to do it, but we thought it would be a better idea to have some goats that would be able to keep it down for us.
If I may say something, so they would not be milk goats. We are not planning on breeding them. We are not planning on making money of them in the sense of making soap or any products. I personally inquired at one farm so far, and they I forget the name, but it's like hour and a half away from here, and they do have yearlings available, and they particularly mentioned that they would sell it only if it's not for breeding and if it's not for something else. So, and we are really trying to get them just for our pets reason and for the backyard. So.
Any other questions? Yeah. Go ahead.
We had some email, some comments from abutters who worried about the goats attracting predators
Okay.
to the neighborhood. What can you talk about that?
Yeah, we plan to have a fence.
We will have electrical
With electric-
fence.
I'm not talking about them straying. I'm talking about would having these goats in the neighborhood attract other wildlife.
So honestly, we moved here in June, and without having goats, we already seen a bear, black bear, in the neighborhood. So people know there are bears sometimes traveling in the woods. So I don't see any change in that pattern of behavior, because if the woods are in your backyard, you already have wild animals in the backyard as a rule. So
To follow up with that, obviously the goats will be eating brush and grass and things, but you'll supplement them with some food, and where will you keep that food?
well, as you visited our property, you saw the shed. So basically, we will be feeding them in the shed, and we will be storing. The idea is to store the hay possibly above them. So we want to put wood there to put bales of hay there. So that would be it. Yeah.
And the shed will get locked or closed. I mean.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I did research about it's what I did research about. It's not about bears as much as like raccoons, but I know that usually carabiners are hard to open for other mammals than humans. So I was thinking of carabiners, or there are two locks. We can always put like a regular lock with what is it, code,
all
number.
the shed doors have locks. on
Really
them.
smart bears.
Yeah.
And so for the chickens you've had since when again?
I think we moved in June.
Since June, and when we were there.
Predators.
And when we were there at the site visit, I mean, I'm no chicken coop expert, but it didn't seem like a fortress, the chicken coop. It seemed, chicken wire and nothing. And have you had, I didn't see any evidence of predator tracks. I didn't realize it was just a moment in time. But have you had predators trying to get in the chicken coop or taking any chickens?
Not at all. We have two dogs, and one of them is hunting dog. So when we let them out, usually they are, on the leash or like tied up. And the hunting dog, she always announces. She was actually the one who told us that there was a bear on top of the hill because she was at the door, at the French door, looking out and growling. So we were looking and we saw the bear, but like usually, we did not. Besides, wild turkeys and an owl, we did not have anybody coming closer to the house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh.
And
Go
ahead, Tim.
Oh, sorry. Did you have a follow-up?
Well, I'm tempted to ask, are you going to keep the dogs? Because that's even more reassurance that
Yes.
the people
yes.
concerned about wildlife. Which,
Honestly,
but I don't know if we'll add that as a condition.
honestly, like today we brought we say.
What?
Well, one of our dogs got two tooth pulled out because for her, since we saw you last time, she broke off her tooth. So we had a little bit of emergency today, and she had to be hospitalized. So yes, we like to keep our dogs. We love them.
Okay. Tim.
go ahead, Tim.
Another concern that is brought up by a couple of folks was noise. Do you have any thoughts on that? Goats can be loud.
Well, I did my research honestly, and yes, they can be loud if they are hungry, if they are like in heat. The male goats are mainly the kind of
Noisy one?
noisy ones, yes. What I was thinking of, and I have to ask local veterinarians, or when I go, if this goes on and we get approval, then I will do a little bit more research about possibly spaying the goats. So in that way, they won't, they won't go to
supposedly the
heat,
only time females are really noisy is when they're
are in
in
heat.
heat.
Yeah. And that's only for a few days, basically like two days of heat or something. And I always say when we go for a walk and we get out of the house, our hunting dog, she has a beagle in her. So she always announces, she always barks. And so far we haven't had any neighbors complaining about it. So I'm hoping the noise won't be an issue because, again, we are far away. We are not on the main circle. So, and, one of us is always at home, so they will get socialized, so they won't be left by themselves, like, for days or whatever. So.
Okay. Any other questions? How about them from the public? Anybody want to, on Zoom? Anyone there want to comment? Okay, so could I have a couple conditions I'd like to add to the goat thing. So that conditions are that that Brian will approve, that you get some evidence that you have a veterinarian lined up for the goats, that you will not be breeding the goats, that you will have no more than 3 goats at any one time, and that you will have no commercial milk, cheese, meat, or any other kind of production from the goats.
Yeah, we agree with it.
Yes.
Okay. And that the fencing be put in before you get the goats.
Yes.
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah.
Can I have
Can I ask what the reason is for the no milk or cheese?
if they want to dispute that, they can come back to the board, but it's not a commercial goat operation, it's a pet operation and land clearing operation.
Okay, so like an agricultural use would be a whole separate
Yes, and
application.
they can come back
And they
if
can
they
come back
want
if they
to.
want.
Okay. They want to do that.
Keep it confined.
Yes.
I mean, in use.
Are there any other conditions that you guys would like to add?
Well, given what I've read and the testimony on the issue of noise,
Okay.
and now that we know it's 2 females, is it reasonable or possible to put a condition about spaying, or is that not a good idea because we don't really know the science
I don't
yet?
know enough about goats to put that on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had that thought too, but I don't know.
Because that would probably allay some fears about noise, at least, because I have read that it's mainly when the females are in heat that they make the most noise.
Well, one of the conditions is consultation with a vet, right?
Okay. And then you can talk about whether it's a good idea to spay them or
Yeah,
not
I just
with
wanted to
the
throw it out
veterinarian.
there as a
I'm
possibility.
certainly not a goat expert.
That's fine.
And maybe somebody here is. I don't know.
No, I did
Keeping
find
quiet
out
about
they
it.
do not graze on grass,
Ah,
not like sheep.
well, I know you never have just one.
Yeah.
You need to have more than one.
Yeah, they are social, so so you need 2 at least, yeah.
Well, did the applicants actually say that they understand that spaying will decrease the noise, or did I mishear?
Perhaps.
Yeah, but I think the question is, we don't feel comfortable making that a condition.
Right.
correct?
And if we allow up to 3 goats, one could be a male.
Or
Oh.
a neutered male, yeah. I have heard the unneutered males are smelly.
Yes. That's what I've heard.
Okay, are you guys okay with those conditions?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve 2026 with the conditions that I laid out?
One motion.
Okay,
I'll second.
thank you. So I'll go one by one. Steve? Yes.
Aye.
Jordan?
Aye.
Yes.
I approve. Approve. Okay, so 2026-6 is approved with the conditions that I laid out. Do you want me to go over them again?
I've got the conditions. Who seconded? Okay.
Jordan.
Steve. Oh, Jordan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
too,
you.
yay, thank you.
All right. The next case is 2026-7. Guswa.
Hi, I'm Emily Guswa, and
Okay, Emily, I did not hear you affirm do your affirmation earlier.
oh, I do. I'm sorry. I agree.
Okay, all right. Go ahead, Emily.
Okay, I am applying to change my rural residential property to also include a small native plant and edible non-invasive plant nursery. And so I don't have any intention to add any buildings and just use pre-existing structures and add cold frames and seasonal tables as necessary. And I also have a small farm stand that I had out on the corner last year, and I'd like to use that. It's the corner of Meeting House and Orchard, mostly up from the stop sign about 100 feet, just across from the cemetery.
Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Guswa? No? Well, go ahead.
I had a question about the landscaping.
Go ahead.
You're gonna extend the existing landscaping, is that true? Between the site and the properties next to you?
So my plan is mostly, my driveway is a horseshoe from Orchard to Meeting House. And just across from my garage, I want to put just a place for some seasonal tables to put plants out. And so I'll be clearing some non-invasive plant or some non-native plants from there and just replanting things. So it's not a huge landscaping change. I already have a lot of screening that I put in just for privacy since I moved in 5 years ago. And so I'll probably continue to do some privacy landscaping, but it won't be any major changes, just the additions of perennials and shrubs.
Any other questions?
Did we confirm the setbacks are all in compliance?
I did not.
Is it in compliance with all the setbacks, I guess?
I don't know if she heard
Do you
me.
know, Steve?
Yes, I believe it is. So the closest anything would be is to Townland, just across the street from me where there's a strip of Townland and then the Meeting House Cemetery. But otherwise, any place where I would have a table or parking is 100 feet from my nearest neighbor.
That's well within the
Well, within the setbacks, yep.
Any other questions? Is there any conditions that anyone wants to put on?
Yeah, I'd like to have any landscaping that she does as a buffer between her property and other property approved by
By Brian?
Brian.
Okay, yeah.
If I can just ask the applicant, you had mentioned, is there an existing farm stand structure already up?
It's not a permanent structure, and it's actually not up at the moment. It's sort of in the middle of a patch of woods.
So that was really the only issue with setbacks that staff noticed in the application is that would need to come back from the road, but everything else seemed to be.
Okay.
Meeting House.
So we have a setback for conditional approval from the zoning administrator on the landscaping and that the structure meets the setback requirements. Okay. All right, can I have a motion to approve 2026-7 with the conditions that I noted?
So moved.
Okay. That was Tim
I'll second.
and Tom. So Steve?
Aye.
Jordan?
Aye.
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 Oh, the public. The public.
Oh, I forgot the public. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No.
Thomas Gilbert, 430.
Wait, come up here, please. I'm sorry.
Yep.
I missed that. I apologize.
No, okay. Thomas Gilbert, 430 Orchard Street. I bought Emily's property. I just have a question. How much business, Emily, do you think you'll generate to commercial landscapers and local residents?
Are you talking like a dollar value or
No,
like
just
how many people, how much foot
Traffic, probably. Traffic kind of.
well, that's my concern,
Yeah.
is traffic. We have a lot of through traffic from Western Avenue, from Route 30, West B, so forth, and a major problem with people speeding. We've gone to the town about that, and we're working on that. But, the houses are far apart, but our house is closer to the road than all the others. So the traffic is more concern to us. And I'm just wondering how much more traffic might be generated by having a business on a rural residential road.
So the business won't be open every day of the week, and it'll primarily be the target is local businesses and local landscapers, and I'm coordinating to sell most of the native perennials off-site. So if there is a sale, it might be it'll be concentrated in the spring on weekends, and I don't anticipate having a high volume of stock. So I would say worst case, it would be like a yard sale. But I don't anticipate that much volume because quite frankly, I can't produce that much in my backyard. This is more like a trial run of a nursery business to see what demand there is out there. And any scaling up would have to happen in a different property with a very different permitting plan.
Thank you, Ellen. Yes.
Let's do a rebuild with the conditions that we had. Yes? Jordan?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, sorry about that I missed you. Okay, Ms. Guswa, you're approved with the new conditions. Okay, now it's time for 2026-4. And I heard on Zoom, and I saw quite a few people walk in after I did the affirmation. So I want to do another one. As we're on the record, we're going to ask that you affirm that your testimony will be truthful. So would the applicants and anyone wishing to speak to an application, please affirm the following. Now, if you did this before, you don't need to do it again. I hereby affirm that the evidence I give in the cause under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth under the pains and penalties of perjury. Please say I do. Do you agree?
I do.
Anybody on Zoom?
They should unmute themselves.
Yes, so I can hear you.
I do. I do. I don't know if you can see me.
I do.
Yep. Okay.
I do.
All right, and who is speaking to this application?
Do we need them identified?
Yeah, can we get iPhone to identify
Someone needs to
themselves?
identify themselves.
Okay. Who's on Zoom on a phone?
I am. Oops.
That's not helpful.
Just tell us your name.
We need your name.
Me? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Michael Fuller.
Okay. All right, who's speaking to this application? Can you move over here and tell us about your project?
Well, I'm just responding to it. I'm not advocating for it. I mean,
So you're not speaking to the
I'm
application?
not presenting, no.
Okay, there we go.
Can you clarify, are you asking for anyone who came to speak tonight?
No, just us who are.
Just some of us aren't
you-
familiar with this process.
Okay, so the process goes, the board hears from the applicant, the person who made the application, or in this case, an appeal and an application. Then the board gets to ask all the questions that they want to ask. Then we'll open it to the public to make your comments. And after that, the applicant can maybe have some closing words or speak to what they, but the applicant will not go back and forth with the people in the audience. And like that.
Thank you.
We might have questions for you if you speak. I will say anyone that sent a letter or an email that we already have, you do not need to speak again unless you have something else to say. Because your stuff is already in evidence for if it gets appealed. So state your name and tell us about your project, please.
I'm Miss Marie, and
I'm Caitlin Baucom.
so we run a community art center and art gallery in third space. When we started, someone else owned the business, and they started it as an art experiment. I believe that's how she put it. And then I got involved, and Caitlin got involved, and we moved to this new space because we outgrew our space, and because the owners of the old space had plans for the space, and looks like it may have fell through. I'm not sure, because now there's a for rent on there. But anyways, and so now we're at the new space and seem to be having problems getting a permit.
And so you're here, first of all, to appeal the ruling that
we are a social service agency and a charity, which we are not. A social service agency, you have to go through the state and other things to become a social service agency, and we're not that. We practice social practice art. We have artists who come in who play music and draw and color and sculpt and sew, and it is absolutely amazing. And Caitlin can talk a little bit more about the social practice part of it, but we practice it every single day. And, you know, for a town that is very artistic and has a lot of artists and a lot of art galleries and a lot of art everything, you know, you walk down Main Street, you walk down Elliot, you know, even in the library, you see all of this art everywhere. And sometimes I wonder why, you know, when someone helps out another person, they don't see the art in any of it, but also they don't see the art on the wall or the art that is happening at that particular moment. When someone walks through the door, you know, we may not have the best art supplies. Everything that we get is either donated or purchased with extremely limited income. And when I mean income, I mean mine. We don't get paid for any of this. I use my Social Security check to purchase a lot of items. We get donations from people around the community who either give us cash to help us pay rent and bills, or they come in and give us clothing, food, art supplies, and, you know, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's a beautiful act of kindness, and it's in an art in itself. And it's sad. It really, truly is sad that Brattleboro doesn't have as many volunteer positions. They don't have as many, you know, gift giving opportunities. And, you know, art is in absolutely everything. And it's just sad that the beauty of it can't be seen. So that's where I am with it.
Yeah, I would say it's very important to us not to be classified as a charity and social assistance organization, because we're not that. And a reason that so many people like to come there is for that very reason, because it's such a collaboratively developed and emergent space. Like everybody who is there every day takes care of it and takes part in what happens there. And I know there's many misconceptions, but you know, the people who come through the doors are about half homeless and half housed. There are a lot of people who come there to do creative projects because there are a lot of people who haven't had the place to store art materials or musical instruments for a long time. So there are a lot of people who are being able to play the guitar for the first time in years or have regular access to paint and stuff like that. And then the space really does fall into like a long practice of third spaces within a social practice art tradition where it's the relationships that develop over time that are most important. And when the people, Katie and Scott, who did open the space, they used to have a place called Avenue Grocery. They are social practice artists, and they opened the space with the intention and the question of like, what does Brattleboro need? And it pretty quickly became clear that what Brattleboro needs and needs more of is third spaces where people can come together and hang out without spending money. Like that defaults to sort of churches and the library, but those aren't really social spaces and where people can like really develop friendships and like unexpected friendships. And then like bars and stuff, which again, not everybody wants to drink alcohol and that costs money and things. So it just, yeah, again, it has been very beautiful. And as we are open longer, more and more people do come and start building and offering all kinds of things. Like everybody who comes has something, everybody who comes has needs, and everyone who comes has something to offer, and that is the whole point of the space. And
Okay, yeah. Board, do you have questions?
I'd like to either ask or offer my clarification about how we'll proceed with this, because
Okay.
it seems like it could be a two-step
It
decision.
is a two-step. We'll
Mhm.
hear
Maybe
about the
communicate.
appeal first and then about the conditional, if we need to.
Mhm.
So right now, we're working on the appeal.
Right. Okay. And then the conditional could potentially come afterwards, depending on our decision with the appeal, like you said.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'll just offer maybe a little clarification, another type of clarification to say, which is that the land use designation that the zoning administrator gave is does not speak to the ownership or like the legal structure. It's the use, the activity that goes on there. So the ownership, the money, the legal structure, you know, I think that's all not relevant to it being a social assistance and charitable service. I mean, to it being designated at this point a social assistance and charitable service organization. So it's about the activity that goes on there, or the structure.
Yeah, I agree with that. Questions? Go ahead, Steve.
Just as a point of clarification, whether or not a social services and charitable organization is registered with or interacts with or receives assistance or funding or anything else from the state, local, or federal authorities is not pertinent to how we define it in our land use regulations.
Yep.
Just wanted to put that on the record.
Yeah, I think that's the point Tom was making, right?
Sounds similar, or yeah. Okay.
Okay, questions, guys? Go ahead.
I wanted to ask, maybe Tom can answer this question. Under permitted uses for the urban center, there's something called other community structures. What is that?
I looked it up as best as I could. It's defined in our land use regs, like as you maybe saw, which is all other structures designed for mass assembly, such as community halls, reception halls, and wedding halls.
Yeah.
And then I looked at where we get all of our land use classifications from, at least in our current version of the regs, from the American Planning Association's land-based classification system, and they define it almost identically, but other community structures are a catch-all category for all other mass assembly structures.
Mass assembly.
Right.
Right, okay. So not the same. Good question, though.
Well, but I will say that I think in our land use regs, we have permitted uses listed, we have conditional uses listed, and then in general, anything that's not listed is prohibited.
Yes.
But often the zoning administrator and well, not usually he sits there. He's not in attendance today. Tries to, I believe, to classify things that are similar.
Yes.
If something's not an identical match, he finds something. If it's similar enough, then he
does.
classifies as that. Nothing needs to be a perfect match.
That's, yeah.
And then that
true.
can be appealed to us
Yeah,
and so on.
that's true.
Okay.
What is mass assembly? More than how many people?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I had been thinking that that's pretty close to a hangout space, a third space.
I don't agree with
Except
that
for
at all.
the mass
Mass
part.
assembly is like a wedding, big groups
Seems like.
that are temporary in nature, I would think.
And I did look through the hundreds or thousands of all the American Planning Association's land-based classification system classifications, and which not nearly all of them are in our land use regs. Whoever wrote the regs in past years chose not to include all thousands of those. And I didn't find anything that's like
Third space.
a third space,
Yeah.
a public living room. So,
We don't have anything like that.
right, so
Probably should.
if that's what we feel is the primary use of this, then the question is, do we find something else that fits it closely? Either that's in our regs or isn't, or do we say it's just not permitted because the classification doesn't exist?
Right.
That's maybe something for all of us to wrestle with, or maybe we already have and know the answers.
Any other
A
questions?
little framing.
Yeah. Questions for the,
Did you have a?
Yeah, I just also wanted to say, a lot of people do think that we are a charity, but almost every single person, patron, artist, human that walks through that door either brings food, they help people, set their plates up, they serve, they make tea, they sweep and mop the floors, they help people tie their shoes, they do all these things for each other. And we have kind of a motto, nothing for nothing, and which means you gotta help out in one way or another. You not only do you gotta help each other out, but you gotta help yourself out. And when I personally think of a charity, I think, okay, I can walk in and get anything for free for nothing, but with us, because we are an art space, because we are a third space, because we are community, we expect people to help, to respect, to put in some sort of work, whether it's helping make a phone call for someone else, whether it's, hey, can I borrow your phone? Whether it's, dude, anyone got a charger, to borrow? And, having someone say yes when they have absolutely barely anything at all, and putting that out there is absolutely huge. And I just wanted to put that out there. Thank you.
Yeah, I phrase it differently, but it's like, it's just not we don't have services on offer. We don't have social services on offer. The things that emerge there are the things that happen naturally between neighbors. And this happens to be, as far as I know, the only place in town where people who don't already know each other or are planning to come together can get to know each other all the time, and therefore offer each other all kinds of unexpected things. But that doesn't mean that we're a charity or offering social services. It means that humans are being humans together and meeting each other's needs the way that neighbors do, the way that a town is supposed to do, in my opinion, the way a community is supposed to do. That's what these structures are for, I think. And there's just not a lot of places where they can happen. Like, it's important to have a place for them to happen. It's one thing to talk about it, like on Facebook or in meetings and stuff like that, but to have a place where people can really get to know each other is just not something we have that much access to. And it's, in my opinion, so important.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Yeah, go ahead.
So would you say that what you are doing in the space is a benefit to the community
Absolutely.
and it serves the public or a portion of the public?
No, I would say it serves the entire community in a myriad and exponentializing amount of ways. Yeah, like in a really interdisciplinary and intersectional way.
And I think like there is a rationale that is within the structure of a charity to do. And I think you could consider something like a sports club where it's kids playing sports or something.
But all of those things are something that opens as a specific model, and then the people who are drawn to that come to this. This has been completely different because we opened as an emergent model, and what has emerged is what the town of Brattleboro wants it to be. Like, there's so many different people who have made the thing what it is. Like, it's not like Lisa and I are obviously the public-facing faces of it, and like we take a lot of, you can't just have it be totally collaborative, and there have to be people who are accountable for things in community organizing. Like, you have to have some structure, but there's not a hierarchy, and we didn't decide like what the place has become. The place really has become the thing because of everybody who is there. And so it's not like I just think of those things as differently. Like, that's a different model where you choose the sort of sector that you're focusing on, like you build a structure, you get funding and all that kind of stuff. This has been the opposite of that, and it's great. And the longer we exist, the more community collaborations we have with other institutions or places that do have a more specific focus. And it's like very great and expansive to work with everybody, to be working more and more with everybody in town, and be really collaborating with different places and people.
Go ahead.
With the opportunity to visit your space last weekend, and thank you for inviting us in, it appeared to me that there were areas in your space that were set up for donations, clothing, blankets, and such. And then there was some discussion that you have some level of state permission to operate as some sort of an emergency shelter at times. And I was wondering if you could speak to that, those two things.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, it was below zero. There was not enough shelter beds. There's not enough hotel rooms. And people were asking if they could stay so they wouldn't freeze and die. And me and Caitlin talked about it, and we're like, okay. We're open during the day. And to have community members have to leave those doors, us have to lock those doors, and then say in the morning, find one or more of those people had died, that would have killed me. I'm assuming it would have killed Caitlin, and it would have killed half of the people, if not all of the people. And I mean killed in heart, soul, mind, who come into. And in my mind, my soul, my heart, my everything, if we had just shut the doors on people, it would have completely and utterly have been a disaster for us, for this town, for this community, for this state. And I'm sorry, it is not okay that people have to be outside when there's no place to go. And not only homeless people, and I will say it, not only homeless people stayed at 69A, but we had 3 housed people stay at 69A during that time. And so we had posted on Facebook that, we needed help during this time, and somebody at the state saw it and came down and inspected us. And
I had also, the first day, on Friday, the first time that it was going to be that cold, I went to the fire department and said that we're going to be open 24/7 for the next 3 days while it's like state declared emergency weather. And I said, we don't have beds, so we're not a shelter, and if you have any questions, call me. And then the state came.
Yeah, the state
a few
came.
days later.
And they said we needed to change out 3 smoke detectors. We needed to fix 2 exit lights and fix a clasp on a door in my actual apartment, not even in the space. I'd let them in my apartment as well. They said that we can have people in the space overnight, and
we don't have the paperwork in front of us, so let's
Yeah.
not say it out. But we got occupancy paperwork from them, and I want to emphasize again. I don't know if this is part of the question, but like I want to re-emphasize that this is still a model of, there are other shelters operating in town that are doing a great job and took years and years and years, committee labor, financial stuff, arguing, heartache, endless no's until there was possibly a yes. And then we did it quite quickly. And like, there's a number of reasons it happened like that. There was a real demonstrable need. We've been demonstrating our competency despite a lot of public narrative about us for a while now. And we were given permission quite quickly to do this. And that doesn't make us a charity. That makes us a community organization taking on the roles and responsibility that I believe are inherent to being in community together, and should serve as a model for more things like that, instead of always needing and expecting things to come at great expense from the state, etc. I just think there are far more possibilities within us as a community, and that is important to model and keep pushing for it. And so we are temporarily acting as emergency overflow shelter. We absolutely have no desire to be like an overnight shelter after the winter period or anything like that. I mean, we'd be happy to collaborate on more shelter options in town, and would love to, but
yeah.
Go ahead, Tom.
One thing, I think I heard the answer correctly to this, but just to probe a little bit more, you said the fire department had to access your apartment, and so it's in the same building. Is it at all connected to this space, such that this place is part of your apartment, and therefore
there
are
are
your guests?
2 apartments in the building.
Mm-hmm. Totally separate units from this space? Oh, okay.
With separate entrance and exit?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions?
I have another question or two.
Go ahead, Jordan.
So, my question, I want to make a point, I guess, or that your points about being a third space and as in the social practice tradition is very compelling, and I don't think, personally, I have no problem with that, and I don't know if other people agree. I don't think we're trying to dictate what your operations are, and if the zoning permitted uses said art gallery / studio, it would be a lot easier to zone you into that category. I'm just having a little trouble getting to the art gallery. Like, I want to be able to get there and agree
the art gallery part?
that's yes, because that's what you're appealing the decision that you're not.
Is it I have an MFA in fine art, and I can both legally and conceptually argue that point. If that is helpful, genuinely. I wrote a statement about it, but I can do it far more fine and get a lot of other contributing.
I think for the first part of this, we need to focus on that and decide. So you're claiming that's the correct zoning category you'd like to be placed in. It really doesn't speak to the operations of what you're doing. It's just so the town knows what is the use of the land. So art gallery, that does work, I think, for me in a lot of ways, because your participants are collaborators and artists, and you have an operation that has kind of a lower impact.
We do sell work, are going to be officially part of Gallery Walk this year for the first time.
So I personally, I think we could get there. But
Can I ask I don't know. What is the impetus to classify us as a social service agency other than being able to put conditions on us?
I think they're social assistance is separate from charitable. They're in the same grouping here, but for me, they're different. So you're obviously not a welfare agency or not a social service agency. Those have very strict definitions about where the money comes from, what you're providing, the monetary value of the services you're providing. So that I think is off the table. I think that the charitable service is a little more flexible, and it can encompass things that have multiple uses and don't necessarily have a fixed financial, like you're not providing services per se, there's no monetary value, there's no, people can't come to you and expect the things that you're providing. But I don't know if you guys agree that the category of a social assistance or charitable service, it's not one thing, we're talking about two separate things.
I think we should take comments from people and then maybe go into deliberative session.
Well, there's two, like I said, there's two pieces to this. And this first piece is an appeal that you lodged against what the zoning administrator put you in. And that happens to be the category that the select board said is conditional use now. So we are allowed to approve that, but that's not what we're being asked right now. It's the appeal of Brian's determination.
So can I answer, and I'm not trying to be rude, can I answer the art gallery part? Okay, thank you. So we do have art on the wall, and every piece of art that has been made that is on our wall is for sale by donation. And we have, by donation, have sold lamps, lampshades, art from our wall, little like sculpture thingies.
So spaces can have more than one use.
Right, but that's, people can come in and look at the art and, see that, okay, so, sorry, I'm trying to, I've been into a lot of art galleries, as have probably many people in this room. And most art galleries, yes, have fancy art from, people who have practiced for years, or at least the ones that I have been in anyways, the Smithsonian and all of these fancy ones. And, whether it's a doodle on a Post-it note or, the Mona freaking Lisa, everything that is on our walls, not that we have the Mona Lisa, is art. And everyone who walks through those doors sees it. And in my eye, that's an art gallery. When you walk through the doors and you see walls of art from local artists, how is that not an art gallery?
As I said, spaces can have more than one use. Okay, questions? Okay, we'll open it up to the public, and I will remind you that this first part of the hearing is about the appeal that you have filed to what the zoning administrator said. So, who would like to start? Get up, say your name, and
I'm Jason Cooper. I own some rental property next door to this. And for point of clarification, I understand that the first piece of this is regarding the classification. How do you define the second piece of this?
the second piece is a conditional approval. And I'm not sure what exactly you want us to approve because you didn't put it on the application. We can talk about that. But first we have to hear the appeal.
Okay, so I don't know if what I have to say is for the first part of the second part. So I think that if we're talking about just the classification, it seems to me that if they're accepting donations and giving them out to the public, that's a social service that they're providing to the public. In the application, it says that they're doing workshops. This too is social service, helping people that are needy, to again, social services, it seems like. So what I wanted to speak to was really the impact of their being there, and I don't know if that's relevant at this point or if it's on the second point.
Go ahead.
Okay. So,
Are you sure?
You can hear the testimony.
Well,
Yeah.
everyone might want to do that then.
And we'll hear everyone's testimony.
Yeah.
Could I ask for a point of clarification of,
Yes.
you said that my name is Fred Bruni, town resident. You said that the first part is about the appeal.
Yes.
If the appeal is denied, then the classification goes forward as social service, et cetera.
Yes.
If
I think so.
Yeah.
If the appeal is approved, what is the classification then?
No, if
Just
the
a permitted
appeal
use?
is denied, then the classification of social services charity stands. Okay.
Right, if the appeal is denied, but
Yeah.
if the appeal is approved, then what happened, what's the classification at that point?
That's what we have to decide in
We'll
the
have to
second.
decide
That
next.
becomes a permitted use.
Yes, a conditional use, and that we get to decide on.
Can I ask another clarifying question? My name is Laura Stamis, Brattleboro resident.
Really, no, I'm gonna stop this now. You can finish what you're saying, and then you can get up and state your name and say it.
Okay.
Let's not have interruptions in the middle of
so
what
then
he
I'll
wants to
say
say.
most of what I have to say for the second piece, but just that certainly if they're accepting donations and giving them away to people who need them, isn't that what charity is? So I'll save the rest for the second piece. Thank you.
You can go up, sorry. Give us your name.
Laura Stamis, Brattleboro resident. I am.
Were you one of the ones that sent a letter already?
No.
Okay.
I am curious about this third space and where that would be classified because.
It's not classified. We don't have a classification called third space or anything quite like it.
Okay. I can just say that I have been in 69 many times. I'm a huge supporter of them. I absolutely have made art in that space. I've had community connections with people in that space. I am a huge fan of the work that Caitlin and Lisa are doing. I think it's absolutely essential in our town for it to stay. I know that when it was really cold and they opened into the evening, there were like high school students who are volunteering to like play music in the space. I can think of many, many, many examples of how it was used for an art space. So I would highly recommend that they are able to appeal it and use it underneath the art gallery, art space.
Okay, thank you. Yep. Please.
I'm Elias Burgess. I'm a Brattleboro resident.
I'm sorry, what's that?
Elias Burgess. I'm a Brattleboro resident. Relevantly, I am also the executive director of Turning Point of Windham County, right down the street from 69A. And in the interest of disclosure, I serve as in an unofficial advisory capacity to these folks. So I wanted to kind of speak on the, as someone who does quite definitively run a social services organization, and perhaps I should be careful because I know we're conditional now, so I'll behave myself.
You don't take it away.
Thank God. So I just wanted to speak to that point about like definitions of charity, and I understand that kind of the point of contention here is the primary use of the space, right? Because as you said, like spaces can serve multiple purposes. I can give the example of, like I said, we are a registered 501c3, we have, use evidence-based peer support models, et cetera, all that stuff. But, we also have art classes sometimes, and people come in and we have art hanging on our walls as well. And we also collaborate with other like local organizations like Hatch Space and Vermont Center for Photography, and they will, offer pro bono services to folks in recovery and all of that stuff. And they are in that capacity, not necessarily, they wouldn't be classified as a charity or social service agency for participating in that, because that's not the primary purpose of their organizations or the ways that they're using their space. Likewise, I would say that like when people come into our space and make art and hang it up on the walls, the primary purpose of our space is social services, and the artistic side, while welcome, is a secondary use. So I think that there is a lot of conversation that is focused on the operations of 69A that do involve like redistributing supplies to folks in need. And I think that is kind of overshadowing the premise of an art gallery. I think the question was raised earlier about, is this a place that serves the public? Which I think is a really fair question. I would also say that an art gallery serves the public. And I'm not, saying that to split semantic hairs, but like a museum, there are plenty of places that wouldn't be classified as a social service or charity organization that do in some way better the community around them. And I think that is an important point. And lastly, so as not to take up too much of the time here, I may have forgotten my last point. Oh dear, it gave me too long to sit. Well, maybe I'll speak again in the part of the meeting, but thank you, I appreciate it. Oh, sorry, I did remember real quick. I apologize. But I would also like to point out to the point of the definition of a place that receives goods or donations and distributes them throughout the community. There are a number of for-profit businesses and other organizations within the community that have been doing that, or that distribute, restaurants that distribute food. They would not be classified as a charity because that is part of what they do on a daily basis. Just wanted to make that point. Thank you.
Go ahead, come on up.
Hello, my name's Andy Davis. I'm a resident in Brattleboro. I started stopping in at 69A, I guess back in December a couple of times. I'm a musician. I played there when there was a public sort of open house after an event at Plenty Park, and a walk down to commemorate the loss of life of people without homes in our community. And I played music there. And as an artist myself, I would rather be playing there than at a wine and cheese opening for $10,000 paintings. The response of the people there, anytime I have gone in, is one of connection. I have met former students. I taught in this community for over 30 years. Reconnected with a former student. I've made some friends there. Whenever I go there, people are gracious. One of the therapeutic tools we have as human beings is making connections with other people. And this whole tangle of how we label an organization seems to overlook that there is an unmet need in our community. And I would hope that our public institutions, which you are, would be oriented toward how can we help you succeed rather than how can we build walls. I noticed in the Reformer an article about the opening of the Multicultural Center down on Vernon Street. And I just had one quick question, if you're able to answer it. Did they need to come before the DRB to open the Multicultural Center on Vernon Street, which is a center that's doing art and sewing and supporting people to connect with health services, some job counseling to serve the refugee community? Did they come before the DRB? One of my questions I'm really curious about is why not? Because that seems like in the article in the Reformer describes their organization as providing healthcare assistance, job support, space for sharing experiences, I'm quoting from the article, an opportunity to overcome trauma, a sewing program, an art program, a place to, quote, come together and heal, quote, a space to sit, talk, and heal. And the overall goals are to encourage independence. And the purpose of that organization on Vernon Street is, quote, we see a community that is willing to pull together. This is what we want our community to be like. I consider this to be the same impetus, the identical impetus. If I were to get off of a bus, I'm almost done, in Brattleboro, and I had to wait 2 hours to catch a train, I could go into any number of places, lay down $10 or $15, and hang out in a warm space and meet the locals and have you. We have people that live in our community that do not have that opportunity. So I would just simply also thank you as the DRB for having a higher standard for weighing public testimony. Much of the decision-making that was made at the select board level was with undisclosed testimony, some of it fear-based, and the sources never disclosed. And I really appreciate your higher level of accepting testimony. Thank you.
Anybody else? Do we have anybody on Zoom that wants to speak? Come on up.
Brendan O'Donnell.
Sure, iPhone can wait a minute, and we'll take this man, and then we'll get to you.
Brendan O'Donnell.
I'm sorry, what was your name?
Brendan O'Donnell.
Brendan O'Donnell.
Brattleboro resident, and I just want to say, as a regular of both Turning Point and 69A, they are totally different in what they provide and what they offer. And going into 69A, I'm able to do my artwork. I'm able to have a space where I can use different media that I've never used before, different paints and stuff. I'm a beginner in a lot of ways. Usually I'm only a sketch artist, really. So being able to develop and to have a space to actually do that where I feel comfortable. As someone who is residentially challenged, it is hard to find a place to do artwork where I feel welcome and where I'm not going to be bothered. And it is a living art to see the people interact with each other there. The way these are people that are all from different walks, and everybody's going through their own struggles, and the way people pull together. And as someone who is homeless, it actually feels really good to be able to say, hey, I can hop in and go and do the dishes, and that feels really good. There is that human expression is an art form in and of itself. The way the people come together and the way they bend over backwards is just amazing to me. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the guy on Zoom?
Me?
Yeah, iPhone, yeah.
Yes. Hi. Well,
state your name again, please.
Michael Fuller. All right. So I own the business next door, TJ Buckley's. And I'm impacted by things that happen outside of the space. All the testimony, everything about it seems great to me, actually. And I would want nothing but success for the 69A. But I'm impacted on a daily basis by things that happen outside of 69A. There's no way that's going to be monitored. So I start my work week every week picking up needles, debris around. There's dog poop around. There's just every day this is happening. We have to pull the shades down sometimes at night because some of my coworkers may not feel safe. So I know there's good in everyone, and especially people that are struggling. But this has just been an ongoing thing for a few years, way before there was a 69A. Thank God the bus stop was taken down. That was a daily, better than Breaking Bad scenario going out there every single day. So what? I mean, everyone's hands are tied. You can't monitor what's going on outside of a facility like that. It's great they're doing, I'm all for what's happening, trying to instill some sort of, pride, all of it. But what am I going to do? I can't seat people outside my restaurant. They want to have a nice, dinner or something. So what's left? What do I do? I'm still paying the same amount of taxes. I just this is not sustainable, and I don't know what to do. Do I want? I'm not going to call the police. No, because everybody, no one is bad in this situation. There's a lot of desperation, but there are no bad people. So I don't know what else to say.
Thank you.
Okay. Yep.
So
Would it be helpful to remind folks where we're at right now?
with the appeal,
Well, I just want to remind everybody that right now we have been asked. There has been an appeal to a determination from the zoning administrator, and that determination was that 69A Hope Corners functions as a social assistance or charitable services use. So I know it's difficult to not slide into effects because whatever, your opinions are your opinions, but we have to try to concentrate on that first question as a board. Otherwise, we won't get anywhere.
that's true.
Thanks.
We also have to let the public,
Oh, absolutely. No, I just thought a reminder of what we're doing at this moment.
yes. Go ahead.
Bob Ozer, resident of Brattleboro. At the risk of maybe not being germane, because it's a little bit sticky how to approach this. First of all, I wanted to say that I think, and I may have read this, and you probably have read it better than I, that a shelter is exempt, correct? So
Shelter exempt?
Well, that's one of those community facilities.
Yeah.
Steve.
Just for a state registered emergency shelter, there are some limitations on municipal bylaws. I could read some of the text of that if
That's
there's
okay.
a
Do
need.
you want to make your point then?
And then this goes back a few years, and a few of you on the board may be there with me. River Garden, before it was Strolling of the Heifers, before it was Marigold, what was the zoning of the River Garden? Was it Mass Assembly, or was it something else? And the reason why I asked that question, it's something that was bothering me in the back of my head. I once strolled into the River Garden back in the day, and somebody was in there playing piano. I was like, okay, this is interesting. So 69A, I've been there a few times over the period of time at 69A Elliot and at 134 Elliot. And it's sort of like that. It reminds me of the River Garden in the day. And so maybe that same classification should hold. That's just a thought.
Anybody else? Please.
I've been listening.
And say your name, please.
CT Trouble. I've been listening. One guy said about the needles and everything. You can go around 69A, you won't find a needle. They try to keep that place clean, the cigarette butts picked up. You can't bring that onto 69A, what other people do. You can come there anytime you want. Walk through the place. No one that I know of will ever be kicked out of 69A, the color, race, or what you are. The thing is, the art is in each one. Your voice, the way you talk. Why do you blame what other people do on a place that's trying to give people the opportunity to better themselves? You learn from each other. You help each other. 69A, you can go in that place anytime you want. They proud to have you come and look it over. Because they got nothing to hide. They very proud of it, and I am too. Thank you.
Anybody else? Anybody on Zoom? Okay. So after you hear all this, do you want to say anything else? Remember, this is about the appeal. No? Okay. So let's talk about on the board what we want to do next. We can take a vote. We can go into deliberative session. We still have to hear about the conditional use part after the vote.
So we could go into session, then come back to the
We
public?
could, but then, you know, everybody would still be here.
Right.
I'd rather not have people waiting.
Right. Can we take testimony and then go into deliberative session and vote on both things?
We could. I think we could do that.
Yeah. We've done that before.
Yeah, with
I
a
think.
double.
Or could we take a 5-minute break for people?
Sure. You want to take a break?
And then we can figure out what we're going to do at least.
Okay, we'll take a 5-minute break. So let's let the applicants know that we're going into deliberative session.
Getting that.
So Lisa Marie and Caitlin, we've decided we want to go into deliberative session, which means we're just going to go into the other room and have a little talk about this as privately. And so we just want to let you know, we don't think it will take very long, maybe 10 minutes, and then we can go on with the rest of it when we get back. So can I have a motion to go into deliberative session? Motion. Maya?
Aye.
And Allison second. All in favor? Aye. We'll be right back. All right, so we're out of deliberative session. Thank you for waiting for us. And we have a unanimous vote that we are denying your appeal and upholding Brian's classification of your organization. And so the second part of this is now your conditional use. And Tim, could you just say what the conditional use is?
From this memo?
Yeah. You read it before.
Yep. The determination was that 69A Hope Corners functions as a social assistance or charitable services use.
So we can continue with this and determine whether we approve your conditional use, and we might put conditions on your conditional use, or you can decide not to pursue the conditional use, and then you'd be in violation. So which way would you like to go?
At this particular time, I feel that we probably should continue. Okay.
Okay. So the next thing is we can ask more questions if you want. Hold on, please. Ask more questions if the board has any more questions for Lisa Marie. No? Okay. Open to the public then. Please come up here and state your name again and tell us what you want to say.
Robert Ozer, Brattleboro. Just a point of information, really, wasn't a question at this point, but would it be appropriate at this time to ask for an adjournment since you've decided on the appeal and now we're going to a separate issue of how you would form the conditions for social service and charitable?
Well, the meeting was warned for this.
Mm-hmm. No, I
We're
understand.
ready to move ahead.
Okay, so there would be no opportunity to then ask for an adjournment at this point?
There's no reason
It's up to the applicant, I think.
I think the applicant could ask for it.
Well, the applicant could ask for that.
Yeah, that was the
if she
point of
wanted. She
information,
just
is
said she
whether,
wanted to go ahead.
whether that was on the table or not.
She just said she wanted to go ahead.
You just said if I didn't, I'd be in violation, so.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, we want to move forward with you with this
Please,
use.
if you have something to say, come up.
Well, I'm just trying to clarify.
please come up to Mr. Davis?
Yes, thank you, Andy Davis. I'm just trying to clarify, when I heard the applicant say go forward, it was in response to, do you want to move ahead with the application for the conditional use? I don't think that necessarily meant, I mean, if I was in this situation, I would want some time to consult with people, do some research, find out how to proceed successfully with the conditional use, because the applicant came here hoping for their appeal to be accepted, and now it's a whole new ballgame. So I'm just trying to, I have a stake as a member of the public that is a fair process.
The meeting was warned for this, and our applicant in the application process did fill that part out. So if you want to, we can continue this to a different time, or we can finish it tonight.
Can I just offer that when we said that if you don't get conditional use review, then you're in violation. That's, at least from my perspective and what I understand, the same as anyone who's doing some use that hasn't been permitted.
Right, it is.
So that doesn't mean that we're going to put handcuffs on you, right now or anything. Or if it's up to the town staff to enforce or find those violations and do whatever they do on whatever schedule and priority system they have.
And I will make the point then, so we'll hear any testimony on conditional use, and then we'll take a vote. We might put conditions on your conditional use, and you can always appeal that if you so desire. So you do have a legal avenue to pursue if it doesn't go the way you want it to.
I guess I'll just continue right now.
Sorry, that was?
I guess we keep going.
It's up to you, really.
Well, really it isn't, because if we're in violation, then our landlord will get fines, and so it really isn't up to us. It just has to happen.
You do have an appeal process to go through.
Right.
If you want.
So if I want to go to the court of...
Environmental court.
Thank you. Does this next thing make it so I can't if I want to appeal the other thing and then appeal this? Like, this is just really confusing for me. I'm sorry. I'm not really good with the politicky stuff.
Why don't we have Stephen? He's very good with procedure. Explain it.
Now I'm on the spot. So this was your appeal in the first case. I don't believe that an appeal can be appealed to the environmental court as far as what you...
Isn't the conditional use we're going to hear now?
Right. The conditional use review that you guys are doing de novo, I might be misusing that. What you find can be appealed to a court. What has already been determined was an appeal, and it was found in favor of the administrative officer.
So in other words, you cannot appeal our decision to uphold the zoning administrator's finding, but you can appeal what we talk about and determine tonight.
Okay.
But only if we go through with tonight, because we have this application from you to go through with it.
Okay.
I'm
just confused. So
I don't think the word violation should really be a scary thing. It's just a technical term.
Well, we'll just continue then.
Yeah.
Thank you.
As another quick point of clarification, there is a third option outside of don't continue this and be in immediate violation for continuing your operation without a permit, or get your conditional use review, potentially receive that permit. You could not go forward with this application and cease operation. You would then not be in violation. Obviously, I would assume that's not what you're looking to do.
Yeah,
but that is the
no,
third
I will
choice.
not cease
So
operation.
it's not like you're immediately put into violation regardless of what you do.
Can she ask for a continuance?
She could.
Can we ask for a continuance, please?
But will we be in
You'll come back and we'll be the
You
same.
wouldn't, if it's continued, they wouldn't be in violation.
They're already in violation.
Well, that's true.
I think the process has been confusing to us because we were reclassified before we had moved locations and before we filed for a permit. And then we're instructed by people to file these at the same time. And so now I'm very confused, actually, about this point of the process. And I feel like it's sort of, I don't know.
I think it is.
I think it's a lot to be
yeah.
able for us to make like the soundest decision. I'm not sure what is.
I think we're here to try to help you come into compliance with the town, and that does nothing to do with your operations of your organization. It's just what the checkbox that the town needs to check off. So if you can always change that later or appeal it.
I think if you understood and felt prepared to, if your appeal got denied, if you felt understood and prepared to argue the social assistance and charitable service use, then we can do that now. But if you misunderstood that or didn't feel prepared, then we could continue it to another time.
It's extremely hard because, again, we're not a social services.
I don't know that we've been
charities, and we
provided
don't
enough.
understand.
I have actually requested this, and it wasn't like sent to me this specifically. I don't think that we've been provided enough information about the criteria being used to make these determinations to adequately.
Like we have to put in, like there's so many categories in the
Right.
permitted use and conditional use, and we just have to fit you into one. And we hear cases like where businesses come to us and they're not quite a bed and breakfast or something, but we place them in that category.
No, I understand that. I mean more immediately what we do. So let me ask, because I'm probably not understanding correctly. Our appeal for the reclassification was denied.
Yes.
So therefore, the permit application that we submitted is probably not valid because that was based on an art gallery use, right? Is that what we're... So our choices are to cease operations, be in violation of something that I don't quite understand, or some third thing that I also don't understand.
So you would get a permit, we would issue you your permit. And
If you're approved as a conditional use, then you just get a permit with our conditions.
Okay.
And
if we do
Which
that.
are, and that's what this would be?
Yes.
That's what we're going to determine now. If there are conditions, we would.
And if we don't get approved for a conditional permit or whatever,
Right.
then what?
You wouldn't have a business, you don't have a permit to operate, but that's the
Okay, so
issue with the town.
essentially, this whole thing is to either let us continue or shut us down.
We want to help you get a permit to make the town happy. So with the town, it would enforce the other aspects of it.
Okay.
Can I ask a question that might be helpful just to...
You understand why we do this? Yeah. No, we're being recorded, and what you're saying and everything that all of you say is evidence. And if a further appeal, so they have to be able to see you and hear you. That's all.
I just want, because I think it might help clarify, I think I very much appreciate the clarification around what violation means in this case. I think it would be helpful if it is not like presumptive on your part to just sort of spell out what the possible next steps from being in violation would be. Like, could they apply for another permit for a different use, or it's just entirely handed over to the town from that point forward to handle from there. I think that's kind of where some of the uncertainty is coming from right now.
Right, and that is really not our place to determine.
Okay. So once it is determined to be in violation, it is outside the...
Right. Another avenue some people can pursue is to go to the town, go to the planning commission, and try to work with them to build another category, which would take time. And so that could be a good outcome. It would be a long-term outcome. And so in order to not cease operations and wait for that, I would recommend you let us deliberate on conditions and approve it.
We shouldn't be recommending.
Not taking as a recommendation, can I ask one more follow-up, which is that process that was described, working with the Planning Commission, still possible if they continue here and accept the conditions?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, the Planning Commission, I mean, there's a formal process right on the webpage to submit ideas, and there's a bit of a form, project proposals and such.
Yeah, we would like to hear the conditions.
We'd like to do, yeah, we'll talk about the conditions. They want to know the conditions.
We don't know them yet.
Yeah, so that's, we'll discuss that now
Yeah,
if you
and
want.
then we probably have some questions for you, but we need to know which avenue you want to go.
Yeah, we'll continue.
You want to continue? Okay. So one of my questions, I think when we had the site visit, you said you were open 10 to 4.
Mm-hmm.
That was your intention, to be open 10 to 4 outside of this emergency cold weather thing. Monday through Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And we were there on a weekend and people were walking in and out. So what hours do you intend to be open?
Right now?
Yes. Outside of the emergency cold weather thing.
Okay, so like in spring?
Yeah.
In spring, most likely it would be 10 to 4. However, I start working early, and so if somebody comes to the door and they're hungry, tired, hot, need help because they got raped or something, I will let them in. So I have a hard time in saying, oh, well, it will be exactly at 10, because I can't guarantee that.
That doesn't mean it's a social service. Social services have very specific hours. It means it's a place where someone is already there working. There are also, like we said, because we don't have a hierarchical staff structure, businesses are open 10 to 4. There are still people in the building the rest of the time. They're doing inventory, they're sorting things, they're cleaning, and there are people in the building outside of officially open hours. So far, our hours have been 10 to 4. Because we've moved into this new spot and we are currently in the process of both ourselves and subjected to everyone else's ideas in town about what we are figuring this stuff out. So right now, during this cold snap, we are open around the clock. I think, 10 to 4 is what we've been doing. We'll also be open for special events and stuff because we are a gallery and are planning events for gallery walk. We are having music shows and stuff coming up. We have people coming to give workshops, not on how to be a human, on knitting and things like that, and on music making. And we're going to have, so there will be probably standard public hours and then after hours, like there are at galleries, like there are at
events.
Yeah, like there are at 118. And then at other times, there are apartments in the building, so people are around who are friends with people who live there. And then also there are people inside cleaning, doing all the things that happen in any space.
Any other questions from the board?
Do you have Narcan on the premise? Is that?
Yes. We work directly with the AIDS Project, and we also work directly with them because the most needles we ever see at 69A are when people bring us needles, assuming that we do needle exchange, which we absolutely do not. So then we immediately do the right thing, which is contact our community partner, the AIDS Project, who comes and picks up the clean needles because they do needle exchange. And yes, they supply us with Narcan. We're also a direct distribution site now, but yeah.
Good.
Yep.
And do you have
we've had Narcan trainings.
A sharp?
Yes. Also provided by the AIDS Project.
Good. Okay, because those are things that I think we're interested in seeing.
It's right next to the bathroom.
All right, so one of the conditions that I think I'd like to see is...
do you want to take some more testimony if it's there? I mean, because I think a lot of people were...
Probably because I opened my mouth about what we were trying to address first.
All right,
I didn't want to cut anybody off.
Anybody else want to say anything?
Can I just invite, I have a question to the public maybe, which is, I know maybe, it's not, there's no other identical use to this in town, but if there's, you can give us an example of some hours maybe of Turning Point or...
No.
I think that'd be helpful for me to know. what sort of uses happen there and what the hours are. So, I mean, you don't have to go first, but if you'd like.
Again,
I've never been in that space. So.
Come down anytime. We have a monthly community meal. It's great. So we're open from 10 to 3 to the public, 9 to 3 to the public every day, and then from 3 to 5 by appointment only, or for certain meetings that require more privacy, like the women's meeting and LGBT meeting, if that helps to answer that question.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Mr. Davis?
Andy Davis, Brattleboro. This is about conditions. It's just so I can better understand. At a select board meeting, one of the members of that board mentioned a restaurant in town that has a bad food place that has a very bad parking situation, and they had a condition that they needed to hire police there on the weekends to manage. And I'm often there. My daughter happens to work there, and there's often a terrible traffic problem and no police there. No. And I'm wondering, what is the teeth? I mean, what we've heard tonight, similar to at other public meetings, I remember once in an interview someone being asked, well, have you ever been attacked by somebody at 69A? Oh, but it could turn into that. There's this level of fear that, and how do you put conditions on people's biases? There's dog poop on the sidewalks of Brattleboro. There has been dog poop on the Brattleboro sidewalks since I moved here in the 80s, and I'm getting older, and I know there will be dog poop on our sidewalks when I'm gone. So I hope that's not one of your conditions. The needle thing, to me, this is an organization that is countering drug culture. They do not allow drug culture in their establishment. When I drive by and I see a few people on the sidewalk smoking, well, I sometimes can't get to my home because when there's a skateboard festival out at the art station on, the Whetstone. There's so many cars there and so many people and hundreds of people out in the parking lot. And it's hard for me to even get to my home when that's going on. I just feel like there's this kind of preciousness going on here, and it's overlooking the fact that we have community people meeting a community need. I hope you're now in the department of making conditions. I just hope they're realistic and they're not based on fear and suspicion, and they're to solve problems. Somebody had a problem with trash on the sidewalk, but there's no trash receptacle there at that part of Elliot Street when they were down the street. So I would like to see really just practical things. I like the conversation. Hey, if needles get turned in, great. AIDS Project has a Sharps station there. Perfect. That's the kind of thing. I just hope that they're really problem-solving, practical, and they're not based on fear of the other. Thank you.
Andy,
Yes.
we put conditions on every permit that we approve.
Good.
All right.
I just hope they're good ones and not based on fear.
So we're not doing anything special.
We pride ourselves on reasonableness.
Thank you. Anybody else? Please.
Abby Manukin, District 8. Sorry I was late. I was at the Select Board candidates debate, so lots of things happening all the time in Brattleboro. I want to echo some of what Andy said and just really encourage this board to do what you can to honor and support and uplift the really incredible work that these folks are doing. I think that there's a lot of talk in town about people, visible suffering, and it makes people uncomfortable. And whether it's people who are unhoused, people who are food insecure, people who are struggling in all different ways, those people exist. Those people have a right to exist. Those people have a right to be in our community, in our towns. it may be me, it may be friends and family, but we have a right to be here. And if anything, 69A is doing a service by helping to make some of the struggles, like giving people a space where they're feeling welcome. And so some of the complaint is like this visible suffering, and now it's like, here's a community space that is just like doing incredible work as like a third space, which I know didn't actually happen in your first part. But I just hope that whatever conditions exist, it's to uplift the work that is being done that is really benefiting the entire town community.
Thank you. Come up, say your name.
Hello, my name is Rayson Hostin.
Hopkins, you said?
Hostin. I'd just like to say that for the past few years I've fallen on hardships. I have credentials as a working man. I've slowly lost my livelihood to injuries, work-related injuries, and led to disabilities, etc. But I said all that to say that a lot of these people, I feel like, are trying to protect their reputation. A lot of it is, you'd be surprised how many of them are suffering from things like sleep deprivation, including myself. And that gives them, there's a form of judgment being seen from that. And also, what else was I going to say? Forgetting what I was going to say. A lot of these people are walking around from place to place. And at the end of the day, they've probably walked 5 to 7 miles from one organization to another. And then having provided help by 69A, and it's very beneficial. And the things about, like, the others were saying about needles, it's been about a week that I've been going there. I haven't seen not a single needle on the entire Elliot Street, not just 69A. And they were actually very resourceful. They helped me out immediately. They pointed out other beneficial places for me to go that would provide help, etc. And above all, they provided a place of like comfort in a time of like unsureness. I think that matters.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't deny that 69A is providing a service to some people who are very needy, and there's no shortage of needy people in this community. What I am concerned with is the impact that this is having on the immediate neighborhood. The requirements that were put on this by the fire department included that the public, I'll use their words, hours of operation should be daytime from 10 to 5, and all members of the public must be out no later than 5 p.m. It seems to be a very flexible thing here. I was at the building next door, 9 o'clock last night, and there were several people. The place was lit up. There were several people in there. A lot going on. Didn't look like they were particularly taking inventory, but I don't know what was going on in there. I know that this morning, before opening hours, there were people on the sidewalk, including chairs that had been brought out from inside and set up there where people were just hanging out and smoking. Part of their application says they're not going to impact the surrounding neighborhood, and all activities are going to be kept inside. Every day I've gone by there have been people collecting on the sidewalk, blocking people. My tenants have specifically said they feel uncomfortable walking past this group of people that are blocking the sidewalk. Some tenants have reported that they've been solicited for money when they're trying to just walk to downtown. This is not okay. There used to be a tenant that lived upstairs in that building. I know them. They moved out. They have 2 young children, and they felt very uncomfortable about what was going on in that building enough that they moved. They'd been there.
That's before we got there.
Hey.
I was told they moved because of what was going on there. So that's and I have tenants who are uncomfortable with what's going on there. This is not okay. I end up with trash that comes across the parking lot. Me and my staff pick up the debris in front of our building and the stuff in that area because it's important to me how things look in there. And when I find this stuff in the parking lot and these signs blowing across the parking lot onto my property, it's not okay. And this is only recently, in the last 4 to 6 weeks, that this has been happening. We didn't have this kind of stuff out in front of our building and in the parking lot before this. So this is affecting us right now. I am concerned about how this organization is being managed because, again, they're clearly having an impact. They're gathering in places that are blocking traffic and interfering people. They are, there's clearly people there way after hours in both directions of the day. It does not seem like they're complying with this public being off. I don't know what's going on there, but there's activities going on there. It's affecting the people in the community and in the neighborhood immediately right now. I understand what Michael's talking about. He has a business right there, and this stuff going on, supposedly they're supposed to be closed by 5 when he's open. My tenants live there 24/7. They're not comfortable with what's going on. I don't deny that there's a need for this, but the way this is being run, we've already had one catastrophe at Morningside because of something that wasn't run well. I don't want to see something like that happen again. I don't want to find someone behind my building who's overdosed, which is clearly going on. I don't want anyone getting hurt, and I really don't want it right there. I'm sorry. I care a lot about my tenants, and I want to take very good care of them. This is affecting us.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We haven't heard from you this time. Go ahead.
I will be very brief. Just because I think it's important for the record in the context, 69A is currently operating as an emergency shelter as approved by the town for 24-hour operation. I just want to make sure that is
We know that.
stated.
Thank you.
We know that.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that the beloved shelter does not open their doors until 8 p.m. And there are people who can barely stand. And the last bus runs at 5:30. There's a person that has been going to 69A who can barely walk. They can't even get to the transportation center on their own, which is one of the reasons why there is a chair outside, one chair. Another thing is people go out and smoke. We are trying to, honor the request of not smoking in the parking lot and blocking the parking lot. And when there's snow outside, it's hard to stand out in the road and, standing on and people, we move out of the way for people who are walking by. We're not, when we're smoking. So, and as for, you can find needles anywhere in this town. And signs are the same thing. You can find the signs anywhere. But, and as for last night, the ACLU woman, Jessica, was there until 10 o'clock p.m.
Thank you. All right, if we're just going to do back and forth, we don't need to hear it anymore. So, do you have something different to say? Not you.
Yeah, we can limit if you've spoken already.
Yeah. Do you have anything?
I just want to clarify that was hearsay and it was false. And I think on the record it needs to be clear that the person who was a tenant above 69A moved out before they were tenants, and that's a very important point because that was false testimony. And the current tenant who lives on top is extremely supportive and would probably be happy to testify.
Anybody on Zoom? Okay. All right, Board, do you have anything you want to say?
Yeah. Homelessness, alcoholics, and drug addicts have been in this town far long before I was even born. And they will be here most likely far long after I am dead. So we can only do our part in the building, and ask very nicely for anything that happens outside the building. When I ask people to move along, they say, this is a public sidewalk and I can do whatever I want, which is true. I am not a police officer, nor is anyone else in 69A a police officer. We can ask all day long for people to be respectful, and things are changing in town. May not be a huge difference, but it is a little. And, you know, if people give us time, maybe things will get even better.
Thank you. All right, board. So conditions?
Well, just one little clarifying question. So the Brattleboro Fire Department set your hours that you currently have?
No, at the old space.
Oh.
The state had asked what our hours were, and I had told them, and so they had given us hours at our old space. But now that we've moved, no one's given us hours or anything. We're just trying to meet what we see Brattleboro needs in hours, and what the artists want, and what we want, and everything. And so, is it helpful?
I can just give you this. This is a copy of the report that is talking about this building that is, and it says 10 to 5.
This building? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is that every day of the week?
We were trying to find this morning, yeah, we couldn't, but yes, this is from the State Division of Fire Safety, and the address is 134 Elliot Street.
Well, I apologize. I didn't know that.
And that
But they-
because the restaurant could have been open later.
Right.
You know.
But also that those same people, the fire people, are the ones that gave us permission to be overnight as well. So,
Agency.
huh?
I think it's a different agency at the state.
Yes, this is the state fire marshal. Well,
They don't necessarily
they
talk,
operate at a county
but I'm
level,
no expert.
yes.
Total, different state agencies. Steve, can we? I want to see that before. That's going to inform.
It'll be read into the record just so that everyone's aware. But yeah, I can pass that around. It's been public record.
I knew it.
Not on our website. But
Go ahead.
Can I ask, there's been a couple of references to not allowing drugs, sort of rejecting people who are doing drugs. How is that? Is that a policy that you would call it, or is it a desire? Is it an aspiration?
Oh, no. If you get caught doing drugs in the building, you are gone. I will not, nor will Caitlin, tolerate any drug use inside the building. Absolutely not. There are so many problems with drug use. And the thing is I tell people, which is true, I don't care what you do. Just don't make your problems my problems. You go do it anywhere else, because that is not my business. It is not my business to tell people what they can and what they can't do. I can ask them nicely. I can offer them, places to go, like, hey, maybe Turning Point, maybe rehab. I mean, I have offered rehab to absolutely everyone. I said, I will make the phone call for you if you want. But people will only go to rehab if they are ready. And it will only work if they want it to work and if they're ready for it to work. So when somebody comes in and, even the suggestion of someone smoking crack in my bathroom, I am at that door hooting and hollering and telling them to get the explicitive out. And if they do not abide by that, I will tell them again. And if they do not abide by that, they will leave. And if the police have to be called for them to leave, that is what happens, because I do not allow drug use in the building. It is not okay with me. I have never done drugs. I don't believe in drugs. And absolutely everyone who walks in the building knows that.
Is there signage?
There is. And we also have the FAFO rules, which that is also on that. Mhm.
Okay, so you've seen this. Let's get passed down.
Yeah, it's very confusing.
I haven't, so.
Okay, so it does say they determine that your hours would be 10 to 5 and that all members of the public must be out by 5.
Well, it says it says actually that the operation hours for this space for a daytime shelter, which I think is, I feel like this is pertaining to the
And I would say,
emergency.
you know, with exceptions for events that you have, like gallery walk or some, you know, something that you're doing there in the evening.
So then, when we let people stay there and have rides from the community and Brat team to go to the shelters, so they don't have to walk to, say, Old Town or the Town Crier Road, would that be okay?
And what time would that be?
Anywhere between the rides start anywhere between 7 and like 8. So like like our last people who get rides to there usually are like around 8:30 if there's any rides left. Sometimes people will knock on the door late at night or my apartment and say, hey, you know, is there any beds at a shelter? Can I get a ride? So.
Well, I think
this
we
isn't.
could-
Oh,
I think we could make a condition that we have
This is what I could
different
tell you.
hours during the winter, during the period when you're allowed to be a shelter.
Right, okay.
But the normal hours are whatever we.
10 to 5.
Yeah, in fairness, that also does acknowledge their operations as a state emergency shelter, which is, of course, 24/7 during the emergency.
Yeah, in the
Yeah,
emergency
and
times.
in terms of rides, you know, that
Is it
that could be
limited use?
Yeah, that can be a limited use that we approve.
Thank you.
But I think normal hours should be, what does it say on there?
10 to 5 daily
10 to 5.
for the daytime shelter. So is that what we're calling this a social assistance charitable service? Did the Department of Fire Safety, for their own purposes, call this a daytime shelter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the emergency overnight shelter is something separate.
Something separate when those times need.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And except for when there are events in the evening.
Right.
and what rationale do you see to limit the hours to says here, or because I'm thinking a restaurant can be open till 10 or 11, and the other businesses operate later. Like there should be a cutoff. Midnight 1. That sounds too late. But 5 seems early. I'd rather not put time limits on.
I'd rather go with what the Division of Fire Safety said. It's already there.
Also, can I say why our hours are that right now?
Sure.
Like why we chose 10 to 4? We chose that over at the old space because there was only a couple of people working, like volunteering there. And now we have in the new space even more people. And at some point, we are planning on trying our hardest to get grants to actually pay like people so we can have employees. And when that happens, I won't be so tired and we could be open longer. Basically, that's why it is, because I'm tired.
So what hours do you think are reasonable?
Honestly, 8 o'clock in the morning until like 8 o'clock at night. That doesn't mean that we would be open those days, those times every time. But there are people who, want to finish their artwork. There are people who want to do an artwork but are uncomfortable with a lot of people around, like they have social anxiety. So we try to, I don't want to use the word cater, but I don't know any other word. We try to cater to everyone's needs. So like we're not just across the board, everyone is the same, because they're not. And if someone's been walking around all night long and their feet are bleeding, I'd rather let them in at, an earlier time than 10 o'clock so they can sit down and wash the blood off their feet, to be honest.
There's a hand on Zoom, by the way. Oh.
I was just going to say, in all fairness, that we complement the 8 to 8 of the Beloved Shelter. The 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. is the Beloved Shelter's operation of hours.
Who's on Zoom? Do you want to speak?
Yes, this is Marta Gossage. I just wanted to go back up a question or two and clarify something. We're asked about if no drug use, like if it's a rule or policy. I just wanted to clarify that the first moment I ever walked into 69A in the old location, there was a huge poster up that said, you may not use drugs here. If you are caught, you'll be trespassed. And I believe that same sign has been put up in the new location. And as far as I'm aware, because I've been, there, I try to go there every other Monday or so. Someone is always watching the bathroom, either Lisa or Caitlin. And if they leave, they find another volunteer who will be watching the bathroom so that nobody is in there too long, so that if they hear or see anything funny business going on, that they will ask them to come out, or they'll use their key to go in.
Thank you,
So
Marta.
I would classify that no drug use as a rule or a policy or a rule.
Okay, thank you very much, Marta. All right. So conditions,
I'm okay with 8 to
8
8.
8.
And later, if there's a special event.
Okay. Is everybody else good with that?
Yeah.
All right, one of the conditions are that you meet the conditions of the health and safety, fire department, and all the other departments that look into those kinds of things. And we'd like to set a condition that this all be reviewed again in about 6 months' time by the zoning administrator, that to make sure that it's working the way we think it should be working. Okay.
I have one more condition, which actually is in their application.
Okay.
Which is a sign about the parking lot.
What about it?
Well, it just says the landlord has requested a sign about the parking lot.
Okay.
And
that you do the sign.
And
about
that you do the sign.
Oh, yeah.
In the sign.
Thank you.
And what does the sign say?
That it's for patients only, and that people can, like, I don't remember the exact words or whatever, but basically the rule of the parking lot is that she doesn't want people smoking in the parking lot because she's a dermatologist that handles cancer patients or something.
Yes.
And then, so out of respect, we tell everybody, get out of the parking lot. And then she says that people can park there on the weekends. They can use it at night after she's closed. And then I think it's on Fridays afternoon or something.
Yeah,
but she wants
fine.
all that on a sign. So we're going to figure it
sign
out.
that the owner,
Yeah.
she can write it.
Yeah, we're going to figure that out.
That's fine.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so can I have are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
Ready?
Was
I
it-
have a
was it-
motion to
Can
approve.
you say the hours one more time?
8 to 8.
Daily?
Yes.
Oh, are you closed on weekends?
Well, lately we haven't, and we hadn't decided what we were going to do in spring, if we were going to be open on the weekends or not.
You okay with that?
I mean, I'm not running the organization, but I would assume that it'd be, not that one can't have it both ways, but if I would think daily would be more useful than longer hours. Some of the days, but that's up to the applicant to argue, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So 8 to 8, she can make her hours less than that if she wishes.
Mm-hmm. But we're saying every day or Monday through Friday?
Every day.
Yeah.
Okay, so can I have a motion to approve the conditional use with the conditions that we said?
I'll make the motion.
A second?
A second.
Allison, second. Steve?
Aye.
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 You're approved. Thank you.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you for the work you're doing.
You guys are always welcome to come in anytime, by the way.
I will.
Stuff off.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Caitlin also wanted to say that they really appreciated this and they just had to step out, but really grateful for this process. So I like that you were heard.
To adjourn?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, we have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.